Welcome back. This is our weekly Neovim plugin video. Today we're going to be covering lualine. And now lualine is also a pretty basic plugin. There's not a lot to it. It's kind of like indent blank line or comment where it adds one specific functionality, and that's a customizable functionality, of course. And so in this video we'll be talking about why would you need lualine, how to install it, how to configure it, and we'll get into some basic useful commands, but really they're just customizable configurations. All right, so with that said, let's talk about why you would need lualine. In my opinion, if turn off my camera here, and if you look at my init.lua as it stands, there's not a lot of information on this file. Like for example, what kind of file is this? I mean, I know it's a Lua file, but there's nothing here that's indicative of that. What Git branch am I on? Where am I in the file? What line is this? And things like that. Like are there any diagnostics coming from an LSP? So all of this information, in my opinion, makes a good code editor. You want that information available to you, and that's where lualine comes in. So let's take a look at the right here at their GitHub profile. And you can see here that lualine adds this kind of status bar to the bottom of your Vim program. Let me make that a little bigger, where you have what mode you're on, that information here on the left. What branch are you on if you're working on a Git project? What is the name of the file, the encoding? What kind of system are you running? What kind of file format is it? And where you are in the file. So let's get started on how to configure lualine, and then we'll talk about how to install it so that it looks a little nicer, in my opinion. But let's dive in. All right, so in my init.lua file, I have my plugins and plugins configs required directives. So what's that saying here is that it's saying, hey, take the file that's in the Lua directory called plugins and plugin configs and include them or require them. So we're going to load them when Neovim starts up. I keep all of my plugin installation directives in a file called plugins.lua. So if you go into here, you'll see that there are a lot of lines with the use statement. That's because I use Packer to install my plugins, and Packer requires this kind of format to install plugins. So this is a lot for me to look at, so I'm going to go ahead and code fold all of these lines, unfold just the top level require statement, and you can see here that it's kind of folded any of the other code blocks, and so I'm only looking at the top level use directives. All right, so to install lualine, let's go down, and then I've already inserted the use directive for lualine, so all I have to do now is highlight these lines and press GC to uncomment that, and that's from the comment plugin that we talked about a few weeks ago. All right, so we're going to install lualine from GitHub. Great. Now let's go ahead and configure it. I'm going to save this file, and now we're going to go into another file called plugin configs. That's where I keep all of my plugin configurations. To open that file, I'm going to hit space FF to open Telescope. That's a plugin we talked about last week. And now I'm just going to go down to plugin configs. Hit enter there. And now I'm in plugin configs. All right, so I'm going to do a Z capital M to fold everything. And then now I'm going to go scroll down to where I have my lualine configurations. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of these right now. We're just going to go ahead and configure it and get this installed so I can show you what lualine looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and uncomment that using GC in visual mode and save the file. All right, well, now let's restart Vim. All right, so it's saying, hey, it's unable to find lualine, or it looks like there might be a little syntax error there in plugins.lua. So let's go to plugins and see what's going on. All right, so Lua plugins.lua. It says here in line 61. All right, so line 61, it's expecting a certain kind of equals mark here. Requires optional true. That looks okay to me. this is what I did. I accidentally uncommented a comment. Great. All right, save that. Now I can reload Vim. Now it's going to say, hey, we're trying to load lualine, but it's not installed. That's okay. Hit Q to kind of exit that message. And now we're going to install lualine. Packer install. All right, great. Packer has successfully installed lualine. Let's reload again. And here, you can't really notice it, but at the very bottom of this screen, right there, you see lualine has been successfully installed. So what are we looking at here? Let me make this a little bigger. And we'll talk about what each little section is. So this right here at the bottom left is telling you what mode you're in. So if I change mode back in Vim, if I press I to go into insert mode, you'll see now it's going to say insert mode. Great. If I open up toggle term, that's one of the plugins that we talked about a few weeks ago, you can see now it's telling me I am in terminal mode because I've opened up toggle term. So I'm going to go ahead and close toggle term, but that's what that very leftmost block is telling you. All right, let's go one to the right here. That's telling you the name of the file. It's pretty basic. And then this here is telling you your Git branch. What branch do you have currently checked out? All right. This over here is telling you your file format, Lua. This over here is telling you where are you in the file. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to open up a bigger file to show you what that looks like. So let's go into Plugin Configs. And you can see here as I'm scrolling down, that percentage is increasing. So now I'm 30% into the file, now I'm 40%, and so forth. So this here, the one at the rightmost section here is telling you what line you're on, what line, and also tells you what column. So let's demonstrate that again. If I go to the right, you can see here now I'm at column 26. On line 88. So that's a good way of letting you know where you are in the file. Awesome. So you may have noticed, let me go back into the init.lua, that my init.lua line, or my Lua line, looks a little different than what you see here on the GitHub page. That's because I used a specific theme for my Lua line. So let's go back into my plugin configs and go all the way down where I've configured lualine. You can see here that I've set some configurations to change the theme to Bubbles theme. Bubbles theme, if you scroll up, is a table with a few configurations to it. So you have normal, insert, visual, replace, and inactive, and then you have colors defined up here. So I'm putting that all together in my setup function to say, hey, I want the Bubbles theme. And these are the section separators and component separators that I want. So you can copy and paste all of these configurations. I copied them from the GitHub repository, but that'll eventually just give you this kind of bubble effect on your lualine, which I really like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was lualine, and next week I'll be posting another video of another Neovim plugin. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But other than that, just have a great day.